Pete, I think we're going to hear some more messages of support from people who have been texting into you today.
Yeah, thanks very much, David. I mean, I don't want to keep people too long, but it's just been fantastic, all the stuff that we've had. One thing I do have to say, from Sue Harris, who is the NUJ's broadcasting organiser, is on sick leave at the moment because she's been having chemotherapy. But she says solidarity with all. I'm there with all of you in spirit. Former BBC staff, we have Stephen here. I got a text this morning from Pete Aitchison. Anybody remember him? Good luck, 1,000,000% behind you, from Stephen. Now, also Mary Senior, who is the Scottish Secretary of the University College Union. On behalf of the UCU in Scotland, we'd very much like to send you and your members our very best wishes in the action of the National Union of Journalists taking over at the BBC. It's absolutely vital that trade unions stand up to defend our hard-won pension rights against cynical employers and government attacks to squeeze more out of employees whilst cutting our benefits. UCU members are currently facing a similar battle as university employers through the university's superannuation scheme, attempt to downgrade and undermine our pension scheme when UCU is very clear that there's no case for such detrimental action to be taken. So that's from her. There's a number of other MPs have been sending in stuff. Austin Mitchell, chair of the NUJ Parliamentary Group. When 70% of NUJ members vote to reject the offer, it's clear that management have to get back round the table with the trade unions and come to a deal. John McDonnell, the MP who's secretary of the parliamentary group, he's the MP for sort of Heathrow kind of thing down in London. The BBC pension scheme was set up to ensure a decent pension for all our people in retirement. Cutting the pension is just the same as slashing people's wages. Undermining the BBC pension scheme is just another part of making ordinary people pay for the economic crisis brought on by the bankers' greed. The message from this picket line is straightforward. We are not paying for your crisis. Solidarity. And I'll give you one more. I'll come back with some more later on. This is from Katie Clark, the MP for North Ayrshire and Arran, who's also one of the NUJ Parliamentary Group MPs. I think we've got to resist the current attacks on pension schemes. Pensions are effectively deferred wages. If we lose the right to a decent pension scheme now, it will be very difficult to win back. I wish you all the very best with your action.
Thanks very much, everyone. My name's Peter Mann from the Right to Work campaign, and on behalf of the Right to Work campaign, I just want to offer you full support and solidarity with the action that you're taking here today. At the moment in this country, we're under a massive attack from a Tory government that's set on cutting back more massively than we've seen since the 1930s. Workers, pensioners, students and the unemployed, people who claim benefits, are all under attack. And this is from a government of which 18 members of the cabinet are all millionaires, and they have the cheek to say that we're all in it together. And because there is a massive attack on all of us in society at the moment, I think we need a general response to that, and that's why I'd like to invite you all to the Right to Work campaign conference, which is on next Saturday. Pete Murray's going to be speaking at it, as well as a whole host of speakers from the trade union movement and the anti-cuts movement. The idea is to bring together everyone in society, whether you're a worker, unemployed, a student or a pensioner, anyone and everyone who's against the cuts that the Tories are bringing in, so we can discuss and debate the way forward for the movement. I think it was absolutely fantastic, the STUC demonstration of 20,000 people only a short while ago. I think we need more action against the cuts from everyone in society. So on behalf of the Right to Work campaign, I offer absolute support for everything you're doing, because your fight is our fight and the fight of everyone.
Thanks very much, Pete. That's great. Much appreciated. Obviously, we're not the only union within the BBC, and I'm very pleased to have someone here whose members have given me a lot of pleasure. I would never have headed down to City Halls to watch the BBC Scottish Symphony Orchestra. It's Eddie Maguire from the Musicians Union.
Yeah, thanks very much. As chair of the Musicians Union in Scotland and Northern Ireland, I'd like you to bring you the support of all our members. We've emailed out to 2,000 odd Musicians Union members in Scotland all about the pickets and invited them to come and show their solidarity with you today. And I don't know if you realise that you yourselves are entertainers, but the NUJ is a component part of what we call the Federation of Entertainment Unions. And under the umbrella of the STUC, we have the Musicians Union, back to the Equity Actors Union and the Writers Guild, and perhaps the Artists Union as well. So the NUJ is in with them, with us all in that. There's a big federation in England as well, but we've got the Scottish Federation of Entertainment Unions acting as a network of support. So I hope that is of help. And through the broader trade union movement, we feel that we're in there offering you our solidarity. Sorry I haven't brought my flute with me today, but maybe another time we'll have a bit of entertainment. Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Flutes and Govan, who'd have thought it? Pete's going to come back now with a few more messages of support that's been sent from people across the country and across the world.
Okay, I'll be fairly quick. I'll try and read these quickly. There's one message on a different page of this. That's from Aslef in the Highlands, so they've sent support. The Bakery Workers Union, BFAWU, Joe Marino. BFAWU sent a message of solidarity to NUJ in their fight for decent pensions. This is a fight that we all have to support. If it's good enough for the captains of industry to have gold-plated pensions, it's good enough for us, and we would all agree with that, I'm sure. We had Dave here from the STUC just a moment ago. Dave's equivalent in London is Megan Dobney, who's Regional Secretary of the TUC in London, and she says good occupational pensions are part of the deal we make with our employers. We choose to defer our pay until our retirement. The offer to pay more for longer to get less is not a good deal for workers. We support the NUJ's campaign. And I think there's just one other that I'd like to read out, which is Bob Monks from the URTU. Undermining the BBC pension scheme is a direct attack on individuals' terms and conditions of employment. Hard-working staff should not have to endure such savage attacks and being made to pay for the mistakes of the fat cats in the city. Support for both the FBU and the NUJ is a given if individuals are not to be picked off in this draconian manner. Thanks very much.
Again, we've got more support from the wider trade union.
From Unite branch in Glasgow as well.
There's so many people out to support, they want to fight to get the microphone. We all know that's happening in the BBC at the moment, is that they're trying to hose us over this pension dispute. And talking of hoses, I've got Jim Maloney here from the Fire Brigades Union.
Shocking.
Well, I'm no fighting a right for the mic, okay? Can I bring fraternal greetings from the Fire Brigade Union in Scotland? I've spent a busy week on picket lines. I've been in picket lines in London on Monday with the Fire Brigade Union members down there, who I'm sure pass on their support. I got a message this morning to transmit to you from Matt Rack, the General Secretary of the FBU, who actually told me don't speak to BBC journalists today. I find myself maybe contradicting those terms right now, but Matt, I think, would be supportive of the action you're taking, and I'm sure he is. And right up and down the country, people are watching what's happening with the BBC today, because the attack on pensions is coming right through the country. And how do we look? And your pensions were ended. The current pension scheme was ended at exactly the same time as the Fire Brigade Union pension scheme in 2006. And those same attacks that you're facing, working longer, paying more, and coming out with less at the end, is exactly what's facing firefighters up and down the country at the end of the Turncoat Hutton's review. What I've saw this week has really been a lesson. What I saw at the picket lines in Shoreditch in London, at Euston in London, and Old Kent Road in London on Monday, and what I eventually saw at the training school in Southwark was a demonstration of the power that's going to be unleashed in trade unions. We saw black-clad security guards with body armour, with attack dogs, attacking firefighters, attacking the capital's firefighters. 3 of our members ended up in hospital on Monday night. Scabs driving fire engines through picket lines, literally aiming them at us. It was a shocking sight, and what I did do, I really thought about how the journalists were covering this story. I was interviewed in London on Monday by ITV News in London, and the first question the reporter asked me, "Are you a flying picket?" Well, I don't sing anyway, but what I did say was no, I came by train. And what I did say also was I'm here to learn. I'm watching what you're doing. brother, I'm watching what you're reporting, because the reporting of that strike and that dispute has been shocking by the standards of modern day journalism, and that's why we need an independent, world-class journalism from the BBC, reporting at the highest standards of journalism, and that's what we've been missing down in London at the FPU's dispute, who, as I say, 5,500 members have been sat down there, and we're fighting not for pensions at the moment, we're just fighting for a job. I will bring the support of the FPU, and as I say, we support you as a world-class organisation. We believe you should have world-class conditions. We do not believe that this organisation belongs to the Board of Governors. We do not believe that the BBC belongs to Mark Thompson. The BBC is ours, and we believe that the workers in the BBC deserve the best conditions and the best pensions. Continue this struggle, continue this fight, and the Fire Brigade Union will work with you. Thank you.
Jim's point there about world-class journalism is really important. We are the people who deliver that journalism every day, and when we're not in, that means that the BBC's world-class journalism hasn't happened. I came off the picket line here at midnight today, went back to the house, switched on the news channel, had a look at what was going on. They had a nice story about some footage that had been found, World War I aerial footage that had been taken from old biplanes, and to illustrate that, they put a picture in the plasma of Adolf Hitler. So that's what happens when NUJ journalists aren't working today. Before we move on, we've got another speaker here again from the kind of wider trade union movement. It's Richie Venton, who's the trade union organiser for the Scottish Socialist Party.
Brothers and sisters, I was tempted to say bring the warm solidarity of the Scottish Socialist Party to your strike, but you know what I mean. I think the fact that you're fighting to defend your deferred wages is something to be applauded in itself, but I believe that you're part of a wider struggle. I'm sure you're well aware of that, because for a start off, if you have decent journalism, one of its tasks is to hold to account the politicians who make decisions that determine the quality of life of the entire population. And when you've got politicians who are announcing 16% of cuts to the BBC's budget and then describe those cuts as delicious, I think it's necessary for your action to ram those delicious words right back down their throat and stand up for the service that you're defending. Because the more you're cut, the less you're able to expose the shortcomings of government, of politicians and others in authority. And it's also, of course, the case that when you're a banker and you run up a massive deficit and threaten the entire economy, you're not asked for a cut to your salary. You're bailed out to the tune of 1.3 trillion by the government, by public funds. That's one world we live in. And the other world in the same country is that when there's a deficit of some level in the BBC workers' pension scheme, partly because of 13 years of cuts in a pension holiday from the employer, then you're expected to pay for that out of your pockets. So in other words, working class people are expected to pay for the boss's crisis on every front, on every occasion. It's not going to be tolerated. Your action is part of a bigger struggle against cuts, and I wish you well onwards to a victory. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much, Richie, and I think it is onwards, folks. The fact that we've kind of stand here today united is putting pressure on the BBC. We heard earlier from Pete about what Helen Bowden has said. I've also heard that there might be more stuff coming out from the pension trustees next week. There is gaps in the ranks and among the management, and if we stay united, we could get a better deal. More trade union support just now, and we've got Dave Sherry here from the Unite Union.
I'd like to bring you best wishes and greetings from the Unite Scottish Housing branch. It's funny, driving over here, I was going to put the radio on to find out how the picket was going, and then it dawned on me it's a strike. It's just like, just habits. We face the same attack as you. We've got final salary pension schemes in the old Scottish Federation of Housing Associations, and it's under attack, and we'll be joining you as well. And I suppose it's a sign of the times, because of what's going to be a massive attack in Scottish housing as part of the Condemned Coalition plans and what they're doing to the Scottish Government. We were organising a lobby at Parliament in November. Sign of the times, the day we were going to organise it, the FPU had beat us to it, and they're having a lobby that day as well, so we won't be having it then. But I think it's important, the fight that you're fighting is part of an attack that's in all workers' rights and all workers' pensions. And actually I think it's important that you're taking the action you have today, and it's an incentive to other groups of workers who are facing the same attack to fight and to support you and to make sure that you win. And if there's anything our union branch can do to help in your struggle, whether it's financial donations or turning up on picket lines or messages of support, anything like that at all, I'm here to pledge that and offer you every support, and I hope your struggle wins. All the best. Thanks.
That's great, Dave. Thanks very much. It's really good to know that we've got that support from folk across the whole of the trade union movement. We're going to kind of finish up now, folks. We're getting a wee bit chilly, and we've had a great rally and a really solid support from all kinds of people. And we're going to hear a wee bit more of that support now with some more messages from Pete.
It's actually just one message. I think it is quite significant. You'll know Robert Beveridge, the guy who came up with all the big report about how to cut the public sector in Scotland, basically. He's a member of the BBC Scotland Audience Council, which I think has been meeting in here today. But they're one member short, because Robert Beveridge is also a member of the EIS, the Teachers Union. And he contacted us the other day to say, is there going to be a picket line out here? And we said yes. I will not be crossing the picket line. I will not be attending the meeting. So that's the kind of stuff right across all the trade union movement, right across the world, people supporting our strike. So it's great to hear. Thanks very, very much, everybody, for coming and staying with us.